And welcome everybody to another episode of the DoDcast Postgame Show. I'm your host, one of your co-editors here at District on Deck, Ricky Keeler. I'm back for the first time since, I believe, Wednesday. So thanks to Ron for covering the Philly series for me. Big one for the Nats tonight, and last night's Brave game too. I was actually at the Met game last night. Got a chance to scout Zach Wheeler a little bit. He'll be pitching Sunday night. That was an interesting game to watch, but this was a fun game to watch too. Nationals blow out the Braves 14-4, and this is the kind of game that the Nationals needed. Needed a game where they get out ahead early, get Joe Ross some run support, and bam, you get yourself a 10-run win where everybody on the position players that play gets a hit but Daniel Murphy, which is hard to believe that you would have a game where you have 20 hits and Daniel Murphy hasn't had one of them. That's how insane this offense is playing right now. Without Trey Turner, Jayson Werth gets banged up during the game. We'll give you an update as soon as Dusty Baker talks to the media about it. But you never want to see Werth go down. He's had a good start to his season. But the Nationals get a 10-run win. Bryce Harper, a home run in the first and a grand slam in the second against Julio Teheran. He is absolutely locked in right now. We'll get into all that in a second. We want to get you involved. If you have a question or comment on tonight's game, feel free to send it into our chat room here on the YouTube page. You can also tweet me on Twitter at District on Deck or tweet me at Rickinator555. A couple ways to contact me. So let's get this started. And, of course, the big story being Bryce Harper. Starts the night off with the solo home run in the top of the first inning. Give the Nationals the lead. You look at SunTrust Park early on. It's tough to hit the ball to right center. Nats did that a lot tonight. So Harper able to get on the board the first pitch home run. Joe Ross had his struggles in the first inning. Gave up a couple of runs, back-to-back singles by Nick Markakis and Brandon Phillips. Braves were really aggressive to start this game. Swung at a lot of first pitches. But Ross got the double play ball to Adonis Garcia, and that really helped his outing. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more from what Joe Ross gave you tonight. First start of the season, a little bit of nerves, I'm sure, and he did a great job. No question about it. Then you have the second inning, and Teheran ran into a lot of trouble. You can't have an inning where you start off with a Werth single, a Wieters walk. Wilmer Difo, who had a couple hits tonight, he picked up a base hit to load the bases. Adam Eaton ties the game with a single in the second. What does Adam Eaton not do? He picks up an RBI single to tie the game at 2. 2 batters later, then Harper comes up, 1-0 pitch, hits it to dead center, grand slam. Harper just loves hitting home runs against Teheran. I don't know why Teheran even pitches to the guy. So he's got 7 home runs lifetime off Teheran. You had a shot in the fourth inning where Harper came up again with 2 on base, and Teheran threw a wild pitch and it run scored anyway, and they were able to walk Harper. So I guess a wild pitch is kind of like an intentional walk, even though you give up a run. So it was that kind of night for Bryce. 4 hits in the ball game, triple shy of the cycle, came out of the game early for good reason. They were up by a lot at that point. So he picks up a 4-hit night. Nats tacked on another run in the 4th inning. Except on that wild pitch, and then 5 in the 8th, including a Ryan Zimmerman grand slam to right center. And Zimmerman is absolutely locked in at the plate right now. There is no doubt about it. When you look at the way the middle of the lineup is produced between Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy, and Ryan Zimmerman, the ability for all 3 of these guys to put good swings together at the plate, you'll love the way this offense is going right now. Anthony Rendon even had 3 hits tonight, so he's starting to find himself in a little bit of a groove. I said Dippo had a good game with a couple of hits. Chris Heisey filled in for Jayson Werth, who came out of the game during his second at-bat. Heisey goes 2 for 5 off the bench. You had the pinch hit singles by Michael Taylor and Adam Lind in the 9th inning. Everybody contributed tonight, I mean, except Murphy, but he had a couple of walks. Not like he didn't do anything. So when you have the kind of game this offense can put up, and again, I mentioned it when I was tweeting the game, it is scary what this team can produce offensively when they're all in sync. And you wonder what Trey Turner is going to hit when he comes back. Mike Rizzo talked about it on 106 on the radio, I think it was today. Said that Trey Turner is in West Palm Beach taking at-bats there. And I think that's a smart idea because you got to be able to control how many swings he gets, especially early on in the season. You want to put him in a controlled environment. Weather's not too crazy. You never know if you send him to a rehab game in Harrisburg or Syracuse, who's both got rained out tonight, what might happen. So a lot can play a factor in those rehab games. So if Turner can get his 15 at-bats in extended spring in West Palm, and then he comes back, let's say, Friday or Saturday, I think the Nats would absolutely sign up for that. So it looks like Trey Turner is going to be fine. A lot of records tonight. Nats hit 2 grand slams in this game. First time, according to Nats PR, since July 27, 2009. Ryan Zimmerman with the grand slam, now second on the franchise's all-time RBI list, past Hall of Famer Andre Dawson. So congrats to Ryan Zimmerman. Bryce Harper's now been on base 8 straight at-bats. Second time he's done that. So Nats PR, some good stats there. And it's amazing when Bryce Harper is locked in like he is right now. 4 home runs in his last 3 games, 2 on Sunday, 2 tonight. He's hitting 404. This is the Bryce Harper everybody saw last April. I think the Bryce Harper everybody hopes to see the rest of the way. But let's get into Joe Ross a little bit. I mentioned first inning, got in a little bit of trouble, but he got the big double play by Garcia, and I think that played a factor. Other than that, he was in cruise control the rest of the way. 7 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. The home run he allowed to Freddie Freeman, which, again, every Nats pitcher seems to give up an RBI to Freddie Freeman. He's on fire right now, so no surprise there. But Ross, very efficient in the strike zone. 100 pitches, 66 strikes. And we had a conversation on Twitter. Should Joe Ross have been pushed as far as he was? And I would argue that that was the right call by Dusty. You got to save this bullpen whenever you can. Ross had thrown 85 pitches at Syracuse in the start prior. So going an extra 15 pitches isn't a big deal. And the stress pitches weren't many at all after the first inning. So it's not like Ross was dealing with a lot of jams tonight. Was able to put the hitters off balance. His slider was nasty. Got the fastball up, I think, at 96 in the first inning at one point to Swanson. So this is exactly what you want to see in this rotation outside of Guthrie's disaster of a start last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. They've been all really good. And that's what this rotation can give you on a night-to-night basis. At least that's what they should be able to do. Scherzer's been good. Gio's been good. Roark has been up and down, but he's been pretty good. And Strasburg, who starts tomorrow, has been good. You can't ask for anything more from your starting pitching. You just want the bullpen to hold some of these leads. Again, if you want to chime in with a question or a comment, feel free to send it to our YouTube channel or send me a question on Twitter at District on Deck. The other 2 news stories today before we get to minor league updates. You have the injury where Joe Ross came up, but Sammy Solis is on the 10-day deal with shoulder inflammation. Not really surprised. Solis was not used much until last night. I thought Solis was pretty good last night. So when you look at what's going on with Solis, I mean, the Nats need him healthy. He's dealt with a lot of injuries the last couple of years. So you hope Solis comes back healthy. The other big news, Blake Trinan no longer the closer. Dusty Baker said it's going to be between Sean Kelly and Coda Glover, and he hopes one of them wins it. So they're going to share that role. I know people hate that. I don't like closer by committee either, but let's keep this in mind. I don't think Coda Glover has earned it just yet. I know Ron has been on here and has wanted Glover to be the closer. I can't say I disagree with him. But the problem right now is you have to remember Coda Glover has to earn the trust of the coaching staff. And it's not like Glover has been great to start this season. He's had a couple of bad games against the Phillies. He's just right now trying to figure it out. He's got the mindset to close. I think he will be the closer eventually. But you can't discount Sean Kelly. Yes, he won't be able to go multiple games in a row at sometimes because of his injuries. But look at what Kelly did last night, coming in with bases loaded, 1 out, and finding a way to get out of it. He does give up a lot of home runs, but I love the fact that he's the leader in this bullpen. He wants this job, and I think that Kelly will do pretty good. Blake Trinan wasn't ready. It was really clear. Ron wrote about that in District on Deck, that you have to give management a little bit of blame for that, and I agree with him. Trinan was not ready for this role. You have to put him back in the 8th inning or that fireman role where he gets the double play when he needs it, sort of build that confidence back up. Because this bullpen, while Trinan's not going to be the closer anymore, they need him. It's important. He's the kind of guy that you want to bring in because he throws that sinker down in the zone and gets the big ground ball when you need it. So hopefully Trinan gets that confidence back. The closer experiment did not work for him. A little bit of a surprise he was been this bad. And I was kind of waiting to see what he would do with the save situation before I took him out, and Trinan was that bad last night. So I wasn't surprised. So again, I think Kelly will do a good job in the role, and I think Glover will be okay. And my guess is Coda gets the job, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's later rather than sooner. I think Dusty kind of remember he likes to go to those veterans. So Sean Kelly should be that guy that gets it. So we're waiting to see what the word is on Jayson Werth. Nats don't really, and Dusty Baker just said it. Ron Zuckerman from Madison said it's a groin spasm. So Werth is day to day. My guess is he's not in the lineup tomorrow. I know they were talking about that. FP brought it up on the Madison telecast. R.A. Dickey's on the mound tomorrow. You don't want to screw up the timing of these hitters, especially going into a big Mets series at Citi Field this weekend, which will be all over here in District on Deck. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of guys sit tomorrow just to get a little bit of rest, get on that late flight to New York, and get their swings ready for Friday. I think that game's more important. You hate to say it in April, but one game's more important than the other. But the Nats got the series, and hopefully Werth is okay and not out for a long period of time. The Nats really can't afford to keep having all these injuries this early in the season. Let's go around the first Joe Ross, we said, gets the win. Julio Teheran, the loss, 4 innings, 7 runs, 7 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. Nats to 9-5. Atlanta to 6-8. And this you could look at this series as the Braves with an opportunity to make a statement against the Nats. Haven't done it. And I think the reason, like we saw last night, the Braves don't have a Max Scherzer. They don't have an ace they can give the ball to every 5th day just yet. But I think they're a team on the rise. They've got a good offense. They just need to get that pitching going. Fulton Edwards wasn't bad last night, but they're still got a ways to go in Atlanta. But I think that they're on the rise a little bit. Let's look at around the National League. Mets got a big boost from Jay Bruce tonight. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Mets win 5-4 over the Phillies. That game got a little bit dicey in the later innings. The Mets bullpen has not been as sharp, but they get Juris Familia back tomorrow. That'll be something to keep an eye on this weekend, as I'm sure he'll maybe get a save opportunity or two at some point. But the Mets survived that one thanks to Jay Bruce. So again, Mets are probably happy they didn't trade Jay Bruce right about now. And in Seattle, the Mariners beat the Marlins 10-5. Good moment, though. Ichiro Suzuki, in probably his final at-bat at Safeco Field, hits a home run in the 9th. But Edinson Volquez only goes 3 innings today. Mitch Haniger drove in 4. Kyle Seager drove in 4. And Seattle gets a win. So Marlins are 8-7. The Mets, with their win tonight, they go to 8-7. Nats are at 9-5 right now. So that's what your storyline is around the National League East. Phillies are 5-9 as well. Tomorrow night's game, it's an interesting one. 7:35 first pitch. We'll be covering the game here. I'll be live tweeting it, and also I'll be here for the post-game show. Steven Strasburg kicks the ball for the Nats, 1-0 with a 3 ERA against R.A. Dickey, who's 1-1 with a 3.86 ERA. Dickey got the win in his last start against the San Diego Padres. And he's a guy that you have to wonder, again, with the weather being not as hot yet, but it's pretty good weather. But Dickey has had one good start, one bad start. He had a good game against San Diego, 2 runs over 6 innings, struck out 6 on 89 pitches. Again, that is the Padres, but Dickey had a bad game against Pittsburgh to start prior. If there's 12 fly ball outs again like Dickey had last time, the Nats will hit the ball pretty well and with good success rate. Strasburg again takes the mound for the Nats. He's been solid in 3 starts. Last time against the Phillies, 2 runs, 5 hits over 7, struck out 8. He's had 8 strikeouts in back-to-back games, both against Philadelphia. Offense is not getting a lot of run support. The Nats have scored 10 runs in 3 games as Steven Strasburg has pitched. And I think you would want to see the offense sort of give Strasburg an early lead tomorrow. But I think he's got the ground ball outs working for him. Pitcher from the stretch hasn't seen it been a huge issue for him. He had 11 last time out, 14 on opening day. So if he gets those ground ball outs, he's going to be successful. 75, 111 pitches for strike, so he's throwing the ball in the zone. That's something you love to see. And he's been able to go over 100 pitches, and that's what this starting rotation needs to do while the bullpen figures itself out. As for the bullpen tonight, again, not a lot of pitchers were used. Eddie Romero got in there, and Romero was, again, off with his command. And you wonder what's going on with Romero. He's getting up a run in 3 of 5 appearances. He looked so great in the spring. Clearly, he hasn't carried that over into the regular season. Matt Albers, he took a line drive from Adonis Garcia off the shoulder. Glad that he's okay. He got out of it with a scoreless 9th inning. And Albers has been effective. I mean, you have a situation where he's going to be in this bullpen for a while because he's done a nice job in the limited appearances that he's had. Let's take a look around the minor leagues. Only 2 games in action today. Syracuse is postponed against Toledo. They got a doubleheader tomorrow. Greg Ross got promoted to Syracuse. So no relation to Joe Ross, but Greg Ross got promoted. We interviewed him on the DoDcast this offseason, so congrats to him. R.C. Orlon also was to Harrisburg. Lacey Lusk of Baseball America had that earlier today. Harrisburg got rained out against Hartford, so the Yard Goats didn't have to see Andrew Stevenson today, who has been out of his mind. 5 hits in back-to-back games. I got a story going on that on the site tomorrow afternoon. He's been fun to watch. I mean, watching MILB.TV and watching Stevenson just have success at a leadoff spot. He draws walks. He's consistent with contact, gets on base at a high rate, hits well for average. He's hitting over 440 to start the year. I don't think he'll be in Double-A much longer if he keeps putting numbers up like that. He's carried over the fall league success. He's carried over the spring training success, and he's been good for this team. Eric Fetty was supposed to start tonight. I would assume he's going to start tomorrow. So maybe you'll get a little Nats action tomorrow night, and you'll get a little Eric Fetty as well. So if that happens, we'll have both those games covered for you. Down in Potomac, they beat the Down East Wood Ducks 6-2. Potomac now 7-6 on the season. Hector Silvestri got the win. 6 innings of 5-hit ball. Struck out 5 and walked 1. Edwin Laura had a home run and 4 RBIs. 3-run shot in the fourth, his second in the season. RBIs for Ian Sagdahl and Brian Mejia. Potomac, as a team, had 6 of their 9 hitters with multi-hit games. So a good day offensively for them. Mariano Rivera III got a 3-inning save. So his dad didn't really get a lot of 3-inning saves, but Rivera getting the job done. Potomac over 500. And how about Hagerstown? I wrote about their offense earlier this week for the website with Carter Keyboom and Juan Soto and Sheldon Noyce, the way they're all hitting the ball right now. The Suns got some good pitching today, too. They beat Lakewood 2-1. Mackenzie Mills got the win. 5 innings, 1 hit, 9 Ks to go with 3 walks. Another Mills, Jordan Mills, picked up the save in 2 innings. I'll give 1 hit. RBIs from Sheldon Noyce, who's now, not Sheldon Noyce, I'm sorry. Daniel Johnson picked up his 11th RBI. He's had a 7-game hitting streak, and this is out of the 9 spot most of these nights. So he's done an excellent job. 2 hits for Nick Banks today at the DH spot. So only 4 hits today for the Suns, but they go to 9-5 on the season. So you got a doubleheader from the Chiefs tomorrow against Toledo. First game's at 12 o'clock. Eric Fetty is supposed to start for Hagerstown tomorrow. I'm not Hagerstown, Harrisburg, I'm sorry. Potomac takes on Lynchburg, and Hagerstown takes on Delmarva. So those are what you got going on tomorrow night. We'll have you covered here on the postgame show. A couple of news items we want to throw at you. I'm going to be recording a podcast with Gary McDonald from Mets Musings tomorrow night. So I'm going to be on there to preview Nats Mets. So I'll put that up there when it's on the website. I thank Gary for having me. I'm from New York, so Nats Mets is always a fun series for me. My family's Met fans. And again, I went to the Met game the other night. It was an interesting finish to that game. Also, we have some good interviews coming up for you. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow. But Ron's got something going up on that as well. So again, to wrap up the night, Nats got a good win offensively. You have the Jayson Werth injury, which is a groin spasm, according to Dusty Baker. Hopefully that's not too serious, and Werth can come back soon. My guess is he's out tomorrow, and Chris Heisey gets a start, or Michael Taylor gets a start. But all in all, I think the Nats avoided a big one with Werth, hopefully. And Bryce Harper's locked in. And it's so much fun to watch Bryce Harper when he's this hot at the plate. No question about it. So they'll have a chance to sweep tomorrow, but at the very least, they get their first road series win, which is always important. You want to start a 10-game road trip with a series win. And again, I think tomorrow night's game, you want to get the sweep, but it's not the end-all, be-all. You want to get as many people ready for that Mets series because you got some good pitching matchups. Tanner Roark and Jacob deGrom, Gio against Matt Harvey, and Scherzer against Wheeler. So 3 pretty good matchups. And don't discount Wheeler. Although he may throw a lot of pitches, he's got good stuff with his fastball. So that's the kind of guy I would not sleep on Sunday night on ESPN before the Nats head out to Colorado to play a good Rockies team. So Ron's going to have more on the closer situation tomorrow. I'm going to have something on Andrew Stevenson. And we'll be back here again tomorrow night, 7:30. Games on Masson 2. And we'll have some fun with Steven Strasburg and R.A. Dickey. Thank you for listening tonight. Also, by the way, DC trifecta tonight. Congrats to the Wizards. They beat the Hawks in Game 2 of their series, 109-101. Good games from John Wall and Bradley Beal. So the Wizards are up 2-0. And the Capitals, a huge win in Game 4 over the Maple Leafs. TJ Oshie had a huge night. 5-4. Caps are tied 2-2. That series has been interesting with the Maple Leafs. So you rarely have this. We talk about how cursed of a city DC is with sports. All three teams won tonight. Couldn't ask for anything better. So Game 5 will be Friday night at the Verizon Center. So if you're going, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, again, follow our fan-sided sites. For the Capitals, it's Stars and Sticks. For the Wizards, it's Wiz of Oz. Great stuff. We got good coverage, not only just baseball, but other sports on fan-sided. So if you're looking for some local Caps and Wizards coverage, those two sites have it for you. Wizards, I think, plays Saturday afternoon. So, again, pay attention to us, but also pay attention to Caps and Wizards. Fun time in D.C., and hopefully those two teams have big playoff runs. So from all of us, District on Deck, for Ron Jeckett and our entire team, I'm Ricky Keeler saying enjoy the rest of your night or your day if you're listening tomorrow morning. And we'll see you back here tomorrow night for Steven Strasburg against R.A. Dickey as the Nets go for the sweep in SunTrust Park over Atlanta.